Hey everybody, Neon here. Wanted to introduce you to a new deck. This is one that I encountered yesterday on Twitter, courtesy of one Kamato, and I think that it is a really powerful number. This is a really interesting deck. I would not be surprised if this ends up being a metagame staple. This is ends up like a powerful combo deck as well, for those of you who are the combo fiends. This is, of course, Storm. This is a glimpse of the possibilities Storm deck that is based around getting the Workshop Forge into play, and then ramping up, getting the Workshop Forge into play, playing glimpse of possibilities, but then basically dumping up your deck into play. And you don't really have like a win condition that's like in a traditional Storm deck, something like, I don't know, like a burn spell or something like that you would use to win that way. What you actually use to win is just like playing cards and buffing up everything on the battlefield. But this deck is really, really powerful in my mind. And we'll kind of see how the game plan sort of functions out. And there's a few deck building decisions that are really interesting to note. One of them right now is actually just the Shugo standards, like the standards that are in the deck. If you are seeing the deck list that's right above me right now, by the way, like I'm obviously not playing while I'm doing this. This is just a game I recorded earlier today, but I'll be playing some games after this. But the one of the advantages of having the standards in your deck is, like, obviously you don't Shugo standard in a combo deck. Like, I don't really get it in the average combo deck. But for this one of the problems with warp forge decks, like Workshop Forge decks in the past, is if you get into clumps of power, you kind of just lose, right? You have no way to go through them. You're going to really like slow you down. By having the standards in your deck, they turn themselves into spells, so it really increases the spell castable density in your deck dramatically, and you're going to notice that as we're playing through our combo turns, as that we can hit these cards, and then either they're really good spells too for the purposes of the deck, especially because they're free now, because we have the warp the forge into play. But we're playing both the Temple standard and the Shugo standard, which allows you to get a giant overwhelm unit, or you will you'll bounce one of your opponent's units back into their hand. So this is basically right now, though, we're going to get our first combo turn. Here, we're going to start, of course, with glimpse of possibilities. Very important to not play a power first, because if you hit power in the course of going off, you want to be able to take it off the top of your deck. So just a subtle point there. Lots of merchants in our deck as well. We can exchange things. This is technically a mistake I make here, grabbing the display of instinct as opposed to grabbing the excavate. This is actually a pretty big mistake. So there's the Temple standard, throwing her back, playing the banner, and then we have another power on top. And then we attack for just 9. Just 9. I mean, it is nice, of course, to have a counter spell here, but I think that I would prefer to have the excavate. I was thinking about doing this right now because I kind of realized my mistake, and I was doing the math that I realized I couldn't play the instinct and then replay my merchant at the same turn. But one of the things that's most important to note about this deck is that you just have so much like material and ways to like develop a big advantage if you're allowed to go off. Like, your opponent really has to do something before you go off for the first time, because now it's really easy for me to set up going off again. But there's multiple tools in my market. In fact, there's like 3 cards in my market: the excavate, the reread, and the display of instinct, that all do that for me. So right here now, and also the fact that excavate means it's really hard to discard the card too, because if I excavate the glimpse the possibilities on top of my deck, then they can't discard it from my hand, which is important. It's also important to note that you should excavate first whenever possible before rereading, because one of the things with this deck is you'll see here and elsewhere is that I very rarely sort of like win all in one turn. It usually requires a little bit of work, a little bit of setup over the course of a couple of turns, which means rebuying glimpse is quite important. And so as a result, you don't want it to be void bound. So that's kind of what's going on here. So I'm going to play out the Xenon Obelisk. This is also one of the reasons why Second Sight is such a great addition to this deck as well. You draw something like the Xenon Obelisk into your hand, and you put it back on your deck. The Second Sight that was on top of your deck cost nothing. Now you have a Xenon Obelisk that costs 2. Seems good. But now my opponent begins to realize exactly what's going on and gives up. So that gives you, I think, a pretty good introduction to the deck. So I wanted to just kind of describe that and talk through things before I went into the games. But I am going to sort of launch into that right now. Okay, so we had some technical difficulties in some of the recordings, but I am going to do a few games for you. The reason I was struggling with that so badly was because I am very dumb. But really, the reason has to do with... God, this hand is so bad. I have to go to 6. Just having to position my camera such that I'm not either covering the top of the deck or my power or whatever, it's actually kind of difficult. Funnily enough, but it works. It works now. I think everything should be fine. So doing a couple of games at least. Don't have all the time in the world, unfortunately. This hand is good, though, for a 6-card hand. Xenon Obelisk is surprisingly unimportant. I really hope that I can block here. I would love to be able to block here. There's a reasonable chance that doesn't happen, of course. Fuck yes. Very likely to play the Shugo Standard as a power. Aurelian Merchant. Yep. Interested in what Monstrum is up to. Ooh, baby. This is quite good for me, honestly. Like, for a 6-card hand, this is excellent. I think the chances that, yeah, I was going to say the chances that he got a relic removal spell were kind of low. This is particularly good for me is that even if I get something like a merchant next turn, I could just go off. It has to be a time merchant, which is like slightly over half of them that I have in my deck. Oh, hey. Oh, let's see how things go. Okay, let's start. Sure. Yeah, this is fair and balanced. Seems okay. Well, that was an okay turn, I think. I don't know. Yeah, man. Sure. Oh. Obelisk. Here. This. Kill that. Play power. Grab this. This is actually a card in my hand, which is actually really nice. I had not thought about that before. Sure. Attack for a lot. And I should have lethal next turn. Waystone Infuser. Yep. They go to 1, I guess. Oh, no, they don't. Miscounted. Something else is getting through. Okay. Oh, it was a good 6-card hand. It was a good 6-card hand. Nice and fair and balanced. Actually, yeah, I had not thought about that. The fact that those get a card into your hand, the cargo, which is important when you are going off and because you kind of like run out of cards pretty quickly and you need to be able to exchange them with your market. So yeah. Obviously, my opponent didn't have the fastest start in the world, but it was that's fine. We take those. Standard here is very likely to go back to the market. Like turn 1, turn 2, Cause Plus, Power Stone, turn 3. Market for Forge, turn 5, Forge, turn 6. Maybe we go off. Probably not turn 6, but maybe. Just maybe. Sure. Actually, I'm going to play Shugo Standard next turn, I think. Okay. That's actually interesting. As a useful tool in this matchup for my opponent. I mean, I still have the Equivocate, obviously. Forge. Ixa Merchant you always play first because she is the worst merchant in your deck by a lot. I will block here if presented the opportunity. Unlucky. If my opponent does not have another power here, I am going to be so fucking happy. It's going to be very hard for them to win unless they have another power. Okay, so they have power. Now, I mean, I still think that I'm probably favored. I'll trade. I'll trade all day. Okay. I'm not under a ton of pressure, so I'm going to just do the following. This allows me to control a lot of things that could go wrong. Like he does some bullshit like levitate on the Berserk. Hojon. They're clearly low on power, though. And they have not had access to a merchant, so they have not had access to a counterspell, for example. Let's just jump. Keep our life total high. Xenon Stranger. I think I can beat that. Glimpse. Ooh, equivocate. Yeah, let's do this. Here. Trade this. Excavate. Seal. Play this. Equivocate. Let's give this back to block. These are working down their health. And also holding up equivocate is always great. They seem very confused. What just happened? My opponent just played a bunch of cards. I thought I had them on the ropes. Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Yep. Glimpse. Yep. Oh, I'm very lucky. Let's just do this. Yeah, the seconds I draw me 2 power there allow me to really clear out the top of my deck, allow me to keep going a lot longer. Yep. Yep. Glimpse. Glimpse. Equivocate. I don't think I want anything from you. Skip. Play this. Oh, I didn't have double that. That's interesting. Play this. Play that on you. Sure. Yep. kind of running out of steam, which doesn't happen very often. That the top card is a power too is really sucks. Now, they kind of do still have to have a sweeper, which isn't what I would expect for them to be playing in this deck. That is a surprising card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think I just have to do this. Try and kill them. There's a pretty good chance I die, though, on the backswing. Oh, wait, now that just does it, because that's 10 plus 6. Yeah, that's just it. I just did the math wrong. Whoopsie. A little bit unlucky there, but you still see the power of the deck. I think that I misplayed that one too. There was probably some way for me to clear out one of the Aegis units, like the Dusk Raider at some point. I think that had I prioritized that, I would have been much better off. Sure, this is decent. It's a little bit ragged around the edges, but it'll do. It's really important for me to grab the Workshop Forge here, just because I don't want the Teacher of Humility bringing this up to 7. Like, I'm not even excited about the possibility of getting hit by a, like the Glimpse getting hit by one. That would really suck too. I might even play out one of these Smugglers this turn in order to hold up Equivocate. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to. I mean, the big thing is I just don't want the cost of Glimpse to be increased. Sure. I have a hard time guessing what my opponent got from the market. Okay, so this is fine. Given the fact that the teacher here does not increase the cost of spells in my on the top of my deck is actually a pretty big deal. So Glimpse. Oh right, I only have 4 power now. Oof. Oh sure. Sure. Like I could play this and then do other stuff over a couple turns. Like it's not the end of the world that I have to do it this way. I'm not happy about it. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not. I would prefer to have not been hit, but yeah, I'll have to play like Devotee. Shifted. Glimpse. Play out power. I just need as much power as possible. So we'll have 4 power to go off next turn. Oh, this is void bad now too. That's actually really bad. I'm gonna be really in trouble. Torch you. Torch you again. It's gonna skip. Equivocate that. Play this. All these kind of suck now. Play here. Play. Yes. Okay, we're doing it again. Oh, they're just done. Okay. I think that they actually could have won that game still. That was not the end of the world. Let's do one more game. I mean, they were definitely behind. It depends on really what their composition of their deck was. Like if they were supposed to be kind of an aggressive deck, then they were really screwed. But yeah, the fact that I don't think I could have gotten the excavate though, given how things worked out in the course of those turns. God, this deck is very hard. Part of the reason I'm just like jamming this a ton is that I want to get used to it and the play patterns of it, because it's definitely a complicated deck and there's a lot of moving parts to it, but it's a blast. So it's rewarding. This hand is tight. Particularly the Devotee of the Sands. I don't know if I've mentioned this already, but Devotee of the Sands, if you have, or any shift unit, if you have a shift unit that's like shifted, you can play banners and they come in undepleted. I don't have fire apparently, but that should come without too much difficulty. Play shifted. I'm definitely going to play Great Valley Smuggler next turn because I don't want to turn my Shuguo standards into power if I can. Well, I might not have a chance. I might have that option, rather. Treachery is not that big of a deal, though. I'm much more concerned about Sabotage in this deck. Might have been correct to play standard here. I think probably was. Yeah, that's fine. Oof. The fact that you always know that it's like not you're when you're second sighting and you're not going to get what you need. Like that's part of the reason why like second sight is like both like not great in the deck and amazing. It's hard to it's a really weird one for me because I am. How do I sacrifice here? Like power is not the constraint. Yeah, I'm gonna just sacrifice, buy some time. Probably should have held even a second. I don't know if I should have or not. That one's hard. I'm in a lot of trouble. Fire Source does like solve all those troubles, basically. Yeah. Definitely have to jump next turn. Probably should have not sacrificed and then. Ooh, if I get a undepleted Fire Source here, I'm actually in very good shape. Yeah. Okay. We can do this. Block Vara. Grab. Oh god. Torch kills me now. Yeah, now that's dead. Okay, well, let's do one more. I said that was the last one, but that's not going to be the last one. I love this deck too much. One more. You can see the deck is strong though. Like it's definitely a real competitive deck in terms of like power level and consistency. It's got some hard decisions. It sometimes like it does go nowhere, but I mean that's just a combo deck. But yeah, like it's able to keep up with some very powerful decks. Now I have all my influence. That was surprising. I didn't see a fire influence there. I have pretty good influence in the deck. Maybe I don't. Maybe I need to improve it slightly. I'm not sure. We'll see. Treasure Trove, yeah. Great. Very happy to play against. Treasure Trove deck. Time. Let's send this back. And then grab Forge. This kind of creates the illusion that I'm more aggressive than I am. If I also need the torch, I can get it back in. If I draw power, I might just jam Obelisk. Ixon does not have a whole ton of hand-related interaction. Very hard to guess what they're getting here, because it's very hard to guess what they think that I'm doing. Let's do this. One of those has got to be a palace. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, that's fine. Trove, A. Not palace. Setting up for palace next turn. Okay. Play it. I'm going to do this in order to keep up the excavate for glimpse. The fact that this also shuts down going for palace here is pretty great. In terms of like they can't just like palace and then attack. Kind of want to go quickly. Actually, I guess they don't know if it's torch or excavate. So that's pretty good for me. Glimpse. Oh, they're done. Great. Okay, so hopefully this has showcased what the deck is capable of. It is very powerful, has lots of possibilities. I think that people, once they get used to playing against it and play a little bit of sideboard hate against it, it's going to get a decent amount worse. Still, like, probably the first contender, along with Praxis, I guess, on being nerfed out of this set. You can take a look at my record recently, with the deck for it. So a couple of losses here. But ultimately, okay, like those ones, this patch has been like medium, but like my first experiences with the deck were really, really strong. Down here is my brainstorm though, but yeah, no, I think that this is, what was actually one of these losses? Yeah, this was just to the gauntlet because I was just like testing some stuff, with it, turn one loss. But yeah, no, generally I think that this deck is one to keep an eye on, work on some more. It has some room for improvement, I think, too. But it is a blast. It is very powerful and has potential to be, like, I think, could easily be tier 1. And is really cheap to put together. Just 6,400 stones. You have one legendary, the four like the East Annex merchants, which I mean, like, you're gonna make those already. So just like build this deck, try it out while it's still legal, because there's a pretty good chance that this one gets hit at some point in the future. But that'll do it for me. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that sort of things. Really appreciate the support in that respect. This deck is a blast. Also, thank you to Kamado once again, who is the one who put out the original deck list. Like, I really only made some very minor changes. It's really his brainchild. So check it out, and talk to you all later.